All sorts of.
I didn't even say welcome back here, man. Come on.
You're slipping. You're
No,
supposed
you
to count
just
down
started.
and it's start.
No.
You'll count down, pause, and start.
Hey, relax. Welcome back to All Sorts of Sports.
All sorts of sports.
Thank you.
Sports, yes.
I don't know what episode number this is. Don't ask me. It's cool. We're just going to move right along. The NBA Finals ended last night.
You want to talk about the guys that aren't here, and we have another person that is here?
I mean, do we ever talk about when Ryan's not here? No.
Not anymore, because that's just a given. The ASOS has gotten a lot blacker over the last few months because Ryan doesn't prioritize the podcast. Now, I'm joking. He's had some legitimate beefs being here. But it's Father's Day, or it's Father's Day weekend, so everybody's doing shit. Keem, new father, he's doing shit. No, Ryan's world stops for his dad. So that's what he's doing, is he's celebrating his dad, I think, in North Carolina. Then Keem's getting all celebrated. So it's me and James, who aren't dad. Are you a dad, Ron?
No.
Okay. He paused, so a couple illegitimate kids. Got it. So there we'll go. But we wanted to bring ASOS to you guys because the NBA Finals just ended. And everybody that I'm talking to this week keeps talking about me and is like, oh, no, they're going to rip your new asshole on the pod. I can't wait. Now, I'm going to get away scot-free.
This is why this motherfucker want to do the pod, just to get it out the way, because I'm the only one here. All right.
How the fuck we going to do a post-NBA Finals pod a week after the fucking NBA Finals? It's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. All right. So, Ron, this whole playoffs, right? We were doing our predictions. This man, KDot here, said it don't matter whoever the fuck is coming out of the East. Whoever's coming out of the East. I don't give a shit what y'all talk about. Whoever's coming out of the East. And then he added in a little caveat later.
Not later, same pod.
Whatever. Oh, but the only team that worries me is the Warriors.
But here's the thing. I'm
not whoever's coming out the East. It was the Sixers at first.
No, I never said the Sixers were the number one chance to get out of this. I said that I was rocking with the Sixers, even though I thought they did not have the most legitimate shot. You remember we talked about it, the Doc Rivers thing, all the reasons why they shouldn't do it. And what did I say? I'm riding with them does not mean that I think they're going to do it. I'm a Washington Commanders fan. Do I think we're going to be in the Super Bowl this year? No. Am I hoping so? Yes. Because I'm riding with them. And I was riding with Daryl Morey and everything that happened.
You picked the Sixers to win. At a certain point, you did.
Yeah, I was understood. All Whatever. Right. Fine. Fuck
it. You pick the Commanders to win nothing? No, you don't.
Did I pick who?
You could pick the Commanders to win anything this year.
No, when we do the game by game, I actually have us pretty set. I got us right there in the playoff mix. But regardless, fine. Well, I mean, fuck it. I'm not even gonna fuck my Warriors caveat, right? Fuck my Warriors caveat. Fuck the fact that I said that a healthy Warriors team is the only team from the West that can slip in. Yeah, fuck that I said that shit, right? Let's disregard it. Yeah. What I said was that on the East, I was hardcore. If I had to place any money down, which I won't anymore after what fucking happened last week with football, I am willing to say the East is going to have the team that goes into the finals. And right now, you know what? I felt good about it. I still felt good about a majority of the playoff series up until the last 3 games where Boston just kind of packed it in. And it makes sense. Boston's a year ahead of schedule compared to where it is the guys are. You got Tatum and Brown are both under 26 years old. You got Marcus Smart's 28, and I don't think anybody's looking at Marcus Smart as one option on that team. It's the first option is Jason Tatum, and the second option is Brown when he's playing up to snuff. There were so many times, especially in the finals, that they had to rely on Al fucking Horford to get the team in the running, which is the thing. Ron, also keep those are really close to the mic.
Whatever the fuck you eating.
I was like, there was a Ron on the Celtics?
No, it's what the eating bird seed. Like what the fuck? So it was they lost, the East lost. I take full responsibility. I was fucking wrong. Give me my lashes. At least everybody here is black, so it's not racist if I say that. It's what it is. Like, I get it. I understand. I was the Boston Celtics. They just couldn't compete when it comes to the Warriors, and when it came to the Warriors, and especially their what it is you guys have talked about numerous times on the podcast, which was their experience, right? They had the playoff pedigree. They had a lot of players that have already been there, and then not to mention they had the key cogs that really changed this, which was like an Andrew Wiggins who elevated his game, and they put him in the perfect situation. I give the Warriors all kind of credit when it comes to that. You know, I'm a Wiggins guy. I love Wiggins. I don't hate the Warriors. I'm not Ryan out here fucking hating Steph Curry. I've never been about that vibe. I just was rocking with the East because I liked the superstars in the East, and I liked the road that they had to go through to get the playoffs. But yes, they came against a much experienced team, and there a lot of that showed. It showed in these finals. It absolutely showed. The only thing that I was worried about with the Celtics, the one thing that I didn't think was going to happen, was how demoralized and boring they looked in a lot of these fourth quarters. That was the only thing that kind of concerns me, and I don't think it has anything to do with age, as whether or not you have the killer instinct or don't. And the fact that they did not show up a lot in that fourth quarter was fucking weird to me, and is something that I think is going to be the thing that you circle with Tatum and you circle with Brown going forward is, are you guys capable of being that guy? Them not winning a championship before 27, 28 years old is not a surprise. It would be a huge thing if they did. But do they have the killer instinct going forward?
Go ahead, Ron.
It's so funny. Every time I jump on the show with y'all, I always agree with 5 out of 200 things Keem says.
All right, I got a question. Do y'all think that the Celtics are going back to the finals within the next 2 or 3 years?
That's so hard. I only say it's so hard because now I was saying this on my show on Bias Sports Take. We've getting to the point now. I think we will not be seeing any more super teams. I think now you're seeing, especially in this playoffs, you're seeing a lot of teams that did well are the teams that really built within. And so all that being said and everything, I think to kind of piggyback on Keem when it comes to the Celtics, the first thing that stood off to me with the Celtics is just it is the lack of experience, but it also, I say, it's the lack of maturity too as a player. You know, I saw it with Marcus Smart, I saw it with Jaylen Brown, I saw Jason Tatum. You know, they just lack maturity. I also think it comes with the coach as well too. I have to throw shades, I have to throw rocks at the coach too. You mean lack of maturity on your end as well, because you and I have talked off air about when it comes to just offense, whether it's football or whether it's basketball. You cannot do a firefight with a team that's better at you than shooting fire. Just as simple as that. You mean you just try to do the same thing that Memphis did. You try to do the same thing that the Mavs did by putting Al Horford in the wing and stuff, and you just keep on driving the dishing. And a lot of times, if you saw whether it was Jaylen Brown, whether it's Jason Tatum, they would keep on fumbling the ball, you know, causing turnovers and stuff.
23 last night.
All right. So all that to be said and everything, it's really hard to put a finger on whether or not, if I was to really give you an answer, I would say the answer is no. Because I think teams like Miami is like one piece away of really being a real finals contender. I think we still got the Nets, you know, with a healthy Ben Simmons, a healthy Kyrie if he decides to play, Kevin Durant. A sleeper team is the Atlanta Hawks. You know, they haven't let go of none of their pieces. Philadelphia as well, a healthy Philadelphia team. Let's see what a healthy James Harden looks like. I would have to say no. Milwaukee. I would have to say no. Also, with another point that Keem said is this too. I have to go what's given right now. The Celtics, a lot of this, your star player does not have a killer instinct. Tatum does not have a killer instinct. That man did like 5 switch-offs just to do a layup. And you keep on wanting to put a Kobe sleeve on your freaking elbow. Let that be Kobe.
Where the Kobe practice shit.
Man, listen, let that be Kobe. If y'all ever take the chance to do this, go look up some posterizing dunks about Kobe Bryant. Listen,
yeah,
he was abusive.
All right,
and Tatum's not that.
KDot, you got the Celtics going back to the finals in the next 2 years?
I don't know. Hard to say for all the reasons Ron said, but also there's going to be some moving pieces, right? The Celtics don't not have assets, and I don't think that team is going to look necessarily the same 2 years from now. They have draft picks, they have things that they I think they're going to move, potentially slot around, and some stuff is going to change, and that goes for a lot of the teams in the East, right? I can't say for sure that Brooklyn's going to look the way Brooklyn looks going. I know that. The Wizards are trying to offload Lord knows what else to whomever else in the league, potentially also in the East. A Miami team with Bradley Beal on it, I'm probably going to pick them over the Celtics team, right? So, like, I don't know exactly what is it's going to came out. I will say that the only thing where if you were to ask me, are the Celtics going to be back in the next 4 to 5 years, I'd probably put it at a yes, just because of what I was saying when it comes to the ages, right? Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who are the two guys you want to build around, are both under 27 years old. They haven't even hit in that point where you're looking at prime, especially playoff prime ages, right? And that experience that they just got is going to help them. They're going to learn from this. What it is, once again, what Ron said is and what I've said before, as far as the killer instinct part, that's the one thing you can't learn. You either got it, you don't. Now, you could be what Andrew Wiggins has, which is under the right circumstances with the right people around him. He was able to turn it on. And you can't say that he hadn't had it in the fucking finals, right? Or in his playoff run. Andrew Wiggins was balling. And I think if you looked at Minnesota, everybody would have said that no one on that team was capable of having a killer instinct, right? But I don't know. There's just too many variables for me to say in the next 2 years. But I really do think with how young they are, outside of Smart, who's 28, and that's still not old.
Where they might need to break that 3 up.
I think that's the other thing is
contract ends in 2024.
Do I think that this team, the way that it's built with those guys, are going to make it back? Maybe not. Do I think that all 3 of those guys are going to be on the same team and make it back? I don't know. I don't know about that. But I think the Celtics as a team will probably be there.
You know, this reminds me of a little bit. It reminds me of the OKC Thunder.
Yep, I agree.
And
the one that lost to Miami.
Yeah, I could see this being the end for them. Like we all thought that, they're going to come back, and no, they didn't. And then they went off to do their own shit by themselves and being great. All right, so we talked about the Celtics, right? Same question for the Warriors.
Yes.
Okay.
In the next 2 to 3 years, will they be back? Yeah,
I have it. Yeah.
All right. So now, Ron, you haven't been on this pod in a minute. KDot, I was really interested in your answer, just based on some of the discussions that we had on the pod before, right? So you said yes, right? But I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you said that.
I know where you're going to go with this.
Yeah, this is like the last,
of the guys from our generation, right?
Right.
But then you guys corrected me. You guys corrected me in saying that what I was looking at as far as generation, you're not putting Steph in the same generation as LeBron or KD.
Yeah, right.
So that was the point that kind of got me off on that. Not to mention the one thing that I'm looking forward to when we're going to get into a later discussion about where Steph places with everything is the next few. I think Steph, if he decides he wants to play, has about 2 more chapters of different kind of basketball left.
Yeah.
And that to me elongates his career like a motherfucker. And the thing with this team is that, I look at this squad and I look at Klay Thompson was a shell of himself as far as what we're used to Klay Thompson being, right? He was still produced and he still had some really key games.
I don't know if he can ever get back to himself.
I don't think but is Klay Thompson ever going to be 2016 Klay Thompson again? No. But Ron, you want to hop in real quick?
No, I had a question for you. Are we saying, because you're saying playoffs? I'm just trying to keep up. We talking playoffs or are we talking finals?
Finals.
He's talking finals. Will they make it back to the finals?
Okay, then continue. My bad. Go on, continue.
Yeah, but looking at the way that they made it to the finals, kind of crafts what it is I would think they'd be able to do. Also, looking at the West, right? So I look at the West and I say, all right, of the teams in the West, who do I think are also ascending? Because I think the Warriors are at this level where they still have pieces. They have a young core now in Andrew Wiggins and Poole and all these guys that are really exciting and coming up, right? And I still don't even know if we've seen what the ceiling is for Wiggins. I really don't. Because, you talk about a first overall pick, who everybody, the Canadian LeBron at one point, right? Career goes to shit going to Minnesota. He gets enlightened and awakened in Golden State. And it's the first year that we've actually seen him kind of like, holy shit, I might understand it now. Like Rain Man and shit out there, right? Like it's just it clicked together. It's like Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover when he's playing and the numbers in. It's just like basketball, and they just start coming together. And Wiggins, dude, there was some like he had some stuff in him in these finals. Some of these threes that he pulled up, just like this is the three that's going to break your hearts, huh? And he'd do it, and it was just cool. And I'm just saying, if this is what we're looking for, Wiggins going for it. That's a dude that I think is going to be a stud. And I look at the Warriors and I'm saying, like, looking across the rest of the West, Dallas, you could say it might get better just because Luke is going to get better as a player. I don't think Phoenix is getting better.
You think
at least in the short term? I think Luka can get better. I think if he learns how to fucking curb his weight in the offseason and gets his shit together as far as his mentals and not bitching on the court all the time, he can in defense
and
get
shooting.
Back, right?
And shooting.
Well, I think this about Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins has been hit his ceiling. I think he's hit his ceiling. Because if you kept up with
the case, I said I don't know if he has, right? So I fully agree that he might.
I thought you said he's still ascending.
No, I think the Warriors as a squad, because of the way that things can transition, right? Because I think that Steph can change the way we saw in these points where Steph was coming off the bench. And there was like, yo, if Steph could just come off the bench, like I just think that's like, I don't think he's there yet, but I just think that that's an element to the game that I'm like, I'm excited to see what I give the Warriors and Steve Kerr credit for. I think they're building the right machine in Golden State. And I think the machine is going to keep them going. And they know, like, we know where to get certain replacement guys. We have certain key fundamentals that aren't going anywhere. So they'll always be in the kind of the conversation.
Yeah, I think another person we forget about is their other first round pick, Wiseman. Wiseman's going to come in and it's going to provide something. The dude, what's his name, Kuminga. They would keep on trying to talk about
Moses Moody
to get him to play. I've already said this. I think Steve Kerr now is an all-time top 5 NBA coach.
That's true. It's fair.
I'd have to look at a list, but I don't know. I wouldn't disagree offhand.
Right,
yeah, I mean, I had to think about it too. You know what I mean? Because if you just shout our names, Popovich, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, who else can you really throw at him? Spoelstra?
That's the thing.
Spo hasn't won as much as.
But the thing is with Spoelstra though. Here's the thing about Spoelstra though. Well, you have to give credit to this. Here's the thing about Spoelstra. You have to give credit to, right? So Spoelstra, it was almost like, let's say, Phil Jackson instance, right? When people use this argument for Phil Jackson, right? Oh, Phil Jackson was rewarded with Michael Jordan. Oh, he was rewarded with Shaq and Kobe, right? You can say the same thing about Spoelstra when he was rewarded with guys like Chris Bosh, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, right? And so now, look how he was able to make a turnaround with his team since that time.
They left him with the cupboard bare. he still was able to come up with something.
Right, and right.
We're getting off subject here.
Right. What's up subject? What it is?
All right. So
we're talking about the West and can Golden State make it back?
Yeah. So you said yes.
I say yeah.
I'm saying yeah too, because I'm looking around the West. Memphis is ascending.
Yeah.
But I still look through the West and I'm saying, because I don't think Phoenix is getting better, I think Phoenix is where they're at.
They're done.
And that window's closing. Well. That window's closing. And it's so do I think right now the Warriors are the class of the West, and I don't see anything right now that says that anybody's markedly better or will be better going into next season. They are already the favorite to win the West again.
The Magic's got Kristen Wood, so I'm gonna just throw that out there.
Congratulations.
Fucking finally. I know. We actually got a center. Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna say that any team is guaranteed to make the finals in the next 2 years, just because of how difficult the West is. Like, we also got to think about the Lakers are coming back. Y'all don't agree?
No, I don't agree with that.
I think the Lakers are. I don't think the Lakers are. I think the Lakers are going to be unless something fundamentally changes. Like I
don't know what's going to happen with the team, but what I'm saying is
that's what I'm saying. Is like what's fundamentally they're at most a bubbles. They're what they're right there at that 8th seed. And can I really trust that all these guys are gonna get better than I saw last year?
So is KD no longer a top 5 player?
Yeah, you're gonna stop with that.
No, I'm asking you. Like, where is he? Is he top 10?
I haven't seen
James.
Fair.
Plus, James, you got to go with the word guarantee. Think about spades, right? You play spades. Is this a guarantee? We can't really shout out the Lakers. We can't shout out the Mavs. We can't. There's a lot of teams we can't shout out. So that's what I'm saying. Like with what the formula that the Warriors have shown, yeah, it's pretty much a guarantee that they're going back.
It's not a guarantee. Like that's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing: you're posing the question of whether or not they're going to make it in the next 2 years. I'm not saying anything's a guarantee. I'm saying that if I had to put money on one or not, I'm going to put money that I would say that they're probably going to be there. They're one of the best ran organizations, if not the best ran organization in basketball at the moment. So if I had to put money on one or the other thing not happening, I'm going to say I'll choose the Warriors. Is that a guarantee? No. I'm saying that if you're asking me,
I am saying is that I will not say that most likely. I'm not going to pick a team that I think is going to get to the finals in the next 2 years just because the West is so wide open.
So did you want to ask that question? You wanted us to say no, because nobody knows what's going to happen.
No, I wanted y'all to answer how y'all felt, and I just told you how I felt.
All right.
Cool. All right. So now, one of the big things that came out of the finals was the fact that Steph Curry won his first finals MVP, which he should have won before anyway, and that shouldn't have had an impact on his legacy. I feel like ESPN, all the talking heads, made that a point for some reason. And then people just started to discuss it. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, he hasn't so he needs this to cement his legacy, which I think was bullshit. I
don't think that's bullshit. I think it's pretty accurate.
Nah, you weren't talking about this before they brought it up. Nobody really cared. It wasn't.
Yes, you were. I mean, it depends on how much of a basketball fanatic you were really worried about and everything.
And I think the conversation behind Steph has changed this season.
Because even actually go with your question first, because that's a whole other topic.
So look, I'm not saying the conversation hasn't changed, but I don't think it's because of the finals MVP. I don't think that's what made people think of him differently.
Well, here's the thing is that right now the conversation has become where is Steph in his legacy or where is Steph all time? And that's the conversation we're finally. I know, but that's the conversation. Look, I was the first one to bring this to the pod when I was saying that what I thought Steph is going to. I was talking about Rushmore, basketball Rushmore, right? And I said Steph's in the conversation or about to be in the conversation. And regardless of how you feel about him, I'm not a huge Steph guy. I don't hate Steph. I hate what he's done for basketball. I don't hate him, but the fact that he's changed it the way he has. But the thing is, when you start getting down to it, and if you're having the conversation of Steph, a top 20, top 15, top 10 player, yeah, you're going to have to start to get in these finals MVP conversations, right? You're going to start having, and the thing with Steph more than anything right now is what I harp on a lot is looking at those years, the KD years. With Golden State. And it is of my opinion that without KD, they could still have won at least one of those championships. But the fact is, when you have a KD there, when you had, Iguodala got a fucking finals MVP at one point, when you got that kind of shit happening, it changes the idea of whether or not Steph was, I don't think anybody was in the conversation whether that Steph was the best player on those teams, right? Because KD was in his prime at that point. But if this was his second finals MVP, I think the conversation as far as the disparity between a KD and with Steph on that team gets closer. At least people don't look at it the same way that they have been.
Well, do people look at the fact that Steph won before they had KD?
Yeah, they look at that, but come on. Yeah, but how many finals does Steph have now?
He won 4.
So the idea of you have 2 with KD and people looking at KD being the stud on the team, it weighs different.
Right, so I don't think people are doing that, especially based on the conversation. It was more so yeah, KD got off because everybody was doubling and tripling Steph.
I've heard that sometimes. I still think when we're getting down to it, the finals MVP stuff, it's not the end all be all. Of course not, right? But we have to start getting into the nitty gritty if we're talking about him in these all-time conversations. And finals MVPs do count to that. It means you showed up and you performed the absolute best situation. You got better when it needed. It's the thing that I don't know if Tatum or Brown are ever capable of doing, right? Like, that's the thing. Does he have that thing? And Steph showed out this fucking finals, man.
He did.
And that's the thing, is like, are we having the same conversation if, like, we saw what Steph does, but if Wiggins slipped in and got the MVP, is Steph still sitting with 0 finals MVPs? That's sort of like, that's just a mark on your record.
It's a stupid mark, but I hear you.
I mean, it's legit to me. If you really keep up with the kid, but I don't think that's the question. Though. What's the question? Because I think that's legit. And I think a lot of times when it comes to a lot of these ESPNs, Undisputed and stuff, and that's why, like, y'all show is so important to the world. My show is so important because you get into that gray area about Steph that people don't really talk about.
Yeah,
there's a gray area for Steph for sure.
All right, so I got another question. So based on that, right, do you think that Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time?
No.
Okay.
It's Magic Johnson. Don't overthink this. it's Magic. And the thing is, I have him number 2, and I even think that's a controversial thing to say.
Oh my God, I don't got number 2. Yeah, no.
I get it. Here's the thing: I'm looking at number 2 because of what you're talking about, that gray area, right? Is that I'm looking at when I'm looking at the top 10 list, when I'm looking at like greatest basketball players of all time, right? There's a certain way that you can look at it. It's all right if there's a fantasy draft and you can pick any player of all time to start your franchise with, right? My list as far as where I'm drafting guys changes compared to where it is I have them as far as top 10 all time. But it's a factor, right? So, like, thinking about that as a factor, then I look at, all right, what is your impact or legacy to the game? What did you bring? Can the story of basketball ever be told without you in it? That plays into me as far as what it is you're doing. Your winning ability, your clutch gene, all of these things kind of factor in as far as when it comes to that list, right? It's the same thing when I always do that debate with people as far as like who's the greatest rapper of all time. I think it's undisputed that it's Jay-Z, regardless of what you think. And the reason I say it's Jay-Z is that whatever your criteria is for the greatest rapper, he's going to be in your top 10 to top 5. So if we aggregate everybody's list, he's going to be there. So that's what I'll look at with Steph.
I got Steph at number 8 for all-time point guard.
Woo!
Yeah, he's not in my top 5.
Yeah, I got him 8.
But
because
here's why.
Jerry, Oscar,
no,
Isaiah?
Here's why.
Don't say Paul.
No, listen. Yeah. Chris Paul's ahead of Steph Curry in terms of a point guard.
Yeah, because
like a true point guard, because Steph Curry's not that.
If we're just basing off the title, oh, Steph is a title as a point guard, then if that's the conversation, then absolutely he's a top 2, top 3 point guard. But if you're thinking about the job of a point guard, does he actually do point guard things? No, the answer is no. He doesn't do no point guard things.
But that to me goes to the Steph changing the game. So like the idea of the way the basketball itself was played for as long as it has been, right? So like
I put that on Steve Kerr in the motion offense. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. Regardless of the way the basketball is played now compared to the way basketball was played back then, right? So you look at the 80s, so you look at the 70s all the way through the 80s, early 90s, right? Where you had that point guards played the true point. Mostly, right? It's all about distribution. That's your number one thing. That's why Magic's number 1, distributed probably better than anybody else. It was beautiful in the way he did it. It's why Stockton's high on people's list. It's the way that it kind of carried through that. Then we had these 90s to early 2000s ISO ball, right? Which either you were the ISO sort of point guard or they usually threw you at shooting guard to some degree because you were just going to do the scoring bit. So it's like AI. AI can be, do you consider AI is more of a shooting guard than the point guard, but he can do either one. The only thing with AI is that he was never going to pass the ball, so you put him in fucking shooting guard. I just think the position itself changed.
He can't do it.
But that's my point. Is it like there comes this error that happens in basketball where it's like, it's the scoring point guard. It kind of changed to me the legacy of the discussion.
I don't think he has ever been a point guard. He's been a shooting guard forever.
He's been a point guard. But these
when he first came into the league, he was a point guard.
Yeah, and then once again, the ISO ball is what Jordan kind of established, which is now I'm going to score 40. I'm going to score 40 every other game, and this is what's going to happen, right? And okay, well we can't keep you there, but then there was nobody really ever dishing to Iverson. There's no anybody with a higher fucking assist on the team because he took the ball down the court and scored with it, right? So like it was kind of one of the era, right? And then we're in this new mode where it's this okay. And I get the Steve Kerr, the motion offense, everything they got to do. They're constantly moving around, and Steph points up and shoots. And so he's the scoring point guard more than he is the passing point guard. But I think that's more the style of the offense. It's not, all right, I get traditional point guard, right? But I'm just looking at caliber of player and what position you're playing. Not if
Steph is a top 5 guard, just not a top 5 point guard.
That's fair, but I just think the position itself, just depending on what's being asked of you on any sort of offense, is not necessarily fair in that way to me. Like we both like 100% agree that Magic's the greatest point guard of all time. Yeah, he can do both.
Yeah, and he can rebound.
Right, he can do all of it. So it's like, okay, if that's my criteria, he can do all of it.
I looked at their stats versus each other. So the only thing Steph has over Magic is scoring.
Yep.
Everything like points, rebounds, assists, steals, Magic. If you look at them in the playoffs, the totals, Magic runs the board.
Well, I mean, but I think that's just going to be a long conversation, and then we're going to start shooting shots at people where it's kind of like, I don't really feel like taking a shot at you, but I'm going to take a shot at you. I feel like I agree with Keem. Like we're in a different style of basketball right now where we kind of have to try to like separate it from the 2000s, the 90s and everything, because if we try to keep it there, all we're going to find ourselves doing is moving the goalposts for certain players, which right. I think is unfair as well, because like when I just leave it at that, because I think like I'm more so about just giving the dude his roles. The dude can ball.
Yeah,
that boy.
He's a top 5 guard of all time. I put him there.
Top 5 where? In point or guards?
No, just guards. Not point guards, just guards.
I would disagree with that, but
yeah, he's there for me.
Because
who you got over him in terms of just guards?
You said guards, right?
Yeah, guards.
Point guard and shoot guard, right?
Yeah, guards. Who you have over? How's Steph Curry not in your top 5 guards? Who do you have over him as a guard?
Jordan.
Cool. 1.
Kobe.
2. Cool.
Dwayne Wade.
No.
That's going to be a no for me, dog.
But hold on. Think about how many defensive teams he's made.
Mm-hmm.
How many defensive teams has Curry made?
None.
So you're putting Kawhi over him too then?
No. Kawhi's not a guard. Kawhi's a small forward.
Oh, fair. What does Paul George play? Is he a
He's a small forward.
For the record, Steph Curry has 0 all defensive teams.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah. Because again, I was having this conversation.
You looked that up?
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't like something happened one year that I wasn't aware
of. No.
Hey, James, pay attention. Because I was having this conversation about Tim Duncan and Steph Curry about their career as a player. They have similarities. Like, and this is the one similarity I noticed with Curry and Tim Duncan. Curry can score 10 points and they can still win the game. That sounds like Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan can score 8 points and the Spurs can still win.
All right, but what else does Steph do, like to make sure that they win? Like I'm asking, I'm not saying he doesn't do anything else. Like don't.
He's there. He's on. I mean, he's
like if Tim scores 8, he has 15 rebounds, 10 blocks. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying this because this goes back to that. Invite me on for another part when it comes to Curry. When it comes to that gray area with Curry, because like notice
we're getting into it tonight.
Oh, we gonna get into it tonight?
We're doing a top 10 list all time.
Oh Jesus! Because notice the guys that I named ahead of him: Jordan, Wade. What I said? Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Iverson. Yeah, I'm naming Iverson.
How? All right, explain that, please.
Okay, this is my only argument for Iverson, and the problem is with Iverson in this kind of conversation is he really has enough silverware on his goddamn on his damn wall.
And his analytics are trash.
Right, analytics are trash, but your analytics also based off your team success as well too. Because if your team was a little bit better, your stats may be a little bit different. But that's neither here or there, right? Because I say the same thing about running backs because that's the thing I hate about Dallas Cowboys running backs. Because everyone roots about these running backs. Doesn't matter. Every fucking year was about these running backs. And it just dawns on me. When's the last time y'all had a bad one?
They had Darren McFadden.
No, that wasn't bad. The last bad one they had was for the Jones. So the real thing is this though. Their offense since Emmitt Smith has been credited to how good that O-line was. That's why there's always been a conversation between Emmitt and Barry, but that's another conversation. So what I'm trying to get to when it comes to Curry and that gray area and everything, and going back to the Kevin Durant of the world and everything is this: Kevin Durant was there for a reason because Curry couldn't pull off certain things by himself. He's not one of those fourth quarter guys who's just going to take off. The Warriors have shown they're probably the best team in NBA history that are a third quarter team. If they get close in the fourth, do not depend on Curry for the last 4 minutes of the game. That's why Kevin Durant was there.
That's new to me.
I mean, you just got to watch it. I mean, that's what you watch it. That's why, like, even with the whole thing about people throwing shade at him about the finals MVP, we forget how much Iguodala was doing in that finals. But the moment,
especially in the clutch time.
Yeah, the moment was gone and everything. You know, as far as how much time has went by. But we all witnessed how he was playing. He was playing defense. He was getting assists. He was playing defense on this so-called GOAT, LeBron James, and he was scoring. And plus, with Curry and how they run their offense, there's so much open room for another player to come in that night and be successful. Like, people forget at one point Draymond could shoot threes. That man one night had 34 points, 31 points.
Yeah, there was at one point this season that Steph was last in the league as far as field goal percentage in clutch.
Yes. And that's the part where it's like, I want to do his roses and stuff and everything. But at the same time, if you watch basketball enough, and like what Keem said about the killer and everything, he don't really on the list of the fourth quarters and like dudes who can take off. Keem know what I'm talking about.
It's my Aaron Rodgers debate. It's my Rodgers debate is if you're leading by 20 against the Lions twice a year going into the fourth quarter, you're so used to having the lead that you don't know how to do the game-winning shit. And that's where those stats start to suffer. When I need the one drive from you in the playoff game, I'm looking to you to do it, and you don't show up, and like you have a history of not showing up, and that's fine because majority of the time, because of you, we're winning by 3 touchdowns, which is cool. But that's a part of your game that you're not doing. And that's the thing. And I brought it to the podcast earlier is that you look at the third quarter discrepancy this playoffs with the Warriors. They come out of half just fucking dogging people. And it was like that was the thing. Is like if you score 30-something to 12 in the third quarter, the fourth quarter comes around. We don't need clutch from you, Steph.
And then again, at the same time, although it's not necessarily his fault because of how that offense is ran. And that's why, like, you know, people always do these conversations about, put the Warriors against this team in the 2000s or this team in the 90s. Really, really think about it. How many teams in NBA history have 2 top 3 great shooters of all time, or probably or 2 out of the top 5, him and Clay, on the same team catching shooters? That's tough. And then they just born another one with Jordan Poole. They just birthed his ass. I was just talking about that last night. I said, damn, they lost Sean Livingston, but they got Jordan Poole.
2 different people.
Is Steph in your guys' top 10s?
So what?
I just want to get to it. Is Steph in your guys' top 10s?
Yeah. I got him. James would like this, but I took Will. I put Steph in.
So Steph is 12 on my list. He hasn't cracked it yet. Do you want to go through our top 10s?
Yep. All right.
Who's going first?
You go first.
Do I start at 1? Like, start at 1 and go.
We already know. We already know who number 1 is for all of us. So don't
Bill
matter.
Russell.
What?
I'm joking.
What?
I knew I was going to get a rise out of it. Y'all still not going to like where I don't think y'all going to like where I have Russell, but here we go.
No, we might be the same.
This conversation's about Curry, though. So
I'm going to get through who I have above Curry. So the 11 guys I have above Curry.
Cool.
MJ, Bron, Kareem, and this is in my order. Bill Russell, 4. 5 is Magic. 6 is Wilt. 7 is Shaq. 8 is Larry. 9 is Tim Duncan. 10 is Hakeem Olajuwon. 11 is Kobe Bryant. 12 is Steph Curry. Right, and he's right above Jerry West and Elgin Baylor.
I almost hit the leave button on this. You glad we're talking about Curry? Let's talk about Curry.
Here's the thing. Like, you brought
this dude is a big man lover. Like,
so you know I had to have my guys on here, right? But but outside of that, Steph,
wait, where'd you have Duncan?
Duncan's 9. I got Duncan 9. So the thing with Steph that's just glaring to me is the lack of defense of anything. As far as like any sort of hardware defensively is where I'm like, that's when we're talking about when you start looking at that list as far as like the finals MVPs and stuff like that. When every product I'm looking at and you see defense of all teams and that big fat 0 sticking there, it's just sort of like, I'm giving you a lot of credit for a lot of shit you've done as far as your legacy to the game. I also think here's the thing. Do I think this is where Steph stays? Absolutely not. I really do think by the end of this, Steph is pushing top 5. I really do. Because I really think that there's going to be a second half of his career. If he chooses to do it, that's going to be terrifying for majority of the NBA.
Yeah. Did you guys see how efficient Steph was on defense in the finals?
This year?
Efficiency, James? Where? What efficiency are you talking about?
The Celtics shot horribly against him.
Celtics shot horribly against Steph.
But against Steph.
I get it.
If you Ron,
James, get your top 10 out the way.
Yeah, what's your top? What's your top 10?
No. You're not going to act like what I just said wasn't true. They shot terribly against Steph. When Steph was guarding them,
that wasn't because of Steph's defense. That was because of bad shooting.
Oh, okay. All right. So if you defend well and then they miss, then it's like, oh, that's not because you defended well. It's just because they missed.
I don't think watching the games to me, I don't think Steph is doing anything great defensively. That's me.
All right, I saw him do give a lot of effort and get his hand.
Fine.
Yeah.
Hold on, Kitty, let me have a moment with James. James, let me ask you a question. If you was guarding Shaq, and Shaq was missing shots, does that mean you was playing good defense?
Was I bodying Shaq? Fuck no. Like, we know the answer to that. That's a stupid question. All right, let me get my top 10. I don't have time. Let me get my top 10 because I gotta dip at some point. All right, so I got MJ, LeBron, Kareem, Magic. Huh?
Keep going.
All right, MJ, LeBron, Kareem, Magic. Then I have Kobe, and then I have Shaq, Steph, Bird, Duncan, Wilt, and then I have Russell at 11 to match his rings.
Is that what you put in there? Be cute.
Yeah.
The Bill Russell slander is ridiculous.
I know. I feel bad about it, but I feel terrible. But I feel bad about it.
You should. Everyone should be feeling bad if you have Bill Russell out of your top 5.
I do, but I admit it.
I know.
And here we are.
Out of fucking top 10, Bill Russell.
I know.
Motherfucker has a ring for every finger. What?
I know.
Do you wrap your head around that?
Well, I mean, didn't they have Ron? Did you say that they had 8 teams back then?
They only had 18. They only had 8 teams.
Come on, it's different. It does make it more difficult in terms of when you have a playoff series and you get towards game 5 or 6 and they're like, oh, the teams really hate each other because they know all the sets and they just get annoyed. It's I get that part, but it's only 8 teams.
I'm not. Fuck y'all. I'm not doing this. It's Bill Russell. I don't give a shit. You got there.
What you had him at 4, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry. If all but one season you played, you won a championship.
All right, wait. Do you have Larry Bird in your top 10?
Yeah, Bird was in my top 10.
Where was he at?
Bird was 8.
Okay, and then you don't have Steph. Okay.
Steph's 12th. He's just outside of Kobe. Okay. And that's the one thing with Kobe is that Kobe, I can look at that and be like, defense of all teams. Guess what he has?
We basically had like the same numbers. It's just instead of Steph, you had Bill Russell, and then the order was
out of whack.
Yeah. So Ron, what about you? Did you already?
I'm never putting Kobe above Shaq.
I am just because I know your feelings on so centers and stuff.
Well, this is an emergency call, so I don't have no order. But I said I like.
You gotta put an order.
I like your. You want the order?
Yeah.
You really want the order?
Well, do you have anything egregious that you see in our list that you're like, fuck no?
We're talking about Curry though. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, where's Curry at for you? So where was Curry for you, James? What ranking?
7.
I have him at 12. Where do you have Curry?
10.
All right, so you're closer to KDot.
Where's Curry compared to Kobe?
Far.
So where's Kobe?
I have Kobe at like 6, either 5 or 6.
Yeah, I got Kobe at 5. Where do you have Shaq?
Either 6 or 7. He's right behind Kobe.
All right, so
where's Duncan to you?
He's behind them too. So he's probably 7 or 8.
I got Duncan at 9.
I'm trying to figure out where's Olajuwon?
I don't have Olajuwon. That's the part I was about to leave this goddamn place.
The Olajuwon,
come on, yo.
What?
Like, you can't say it like that.
During the Jordan era, what?
Just admit that he's not in the top 10, but don't slander him. Like, you gotta give him respect.
Like I said.
Oh my god.
That's like that payoff play.
Olajuwon, what?
The disrespect is crazy.
The only things that
I hate, like I say, like I've got to the point in everything. I started to appreciate people. Like, I saw Kadeem's face on the pod on the other day on my YouTube. I said, man, I love Kadeem. Because he's an idiot. But anyways, it's like, no,
fucking prick.
That's a joke. But no, because the thing is, it's just jokes.
Nah, yeah.
Because again, the thing is with these conversations, what I do not like is because I don't want to throw holes at someone who's successful. You feel me? And at the same time, I don't want to keep on moving the goalpost so much because it's almost like I'm being disrespectful to the person. You know what I mean? So all that being said and everything, I think Olajuwon is a great player. I think Olajuwon is top 5 in his position, arguably top 3. I don't have the air capacity right now to argue that. But
I don't think. Well.
I'm not prepared because here's the thing I do with people all the time. You know what I mean? If we're doing Dwayne Wade versus Allen Iverson, and someone got Dwayne Wade, that's fine. But if someone picked Brandon Roy over Allen Iverson, I feel I have a problem.
I mean, they got a point there. You got to look at the analytics. No, I'm joking. Allen Iverson is my second favorite player of all time. Look, I think that I agree with you to a certain degree as far as what you're saying. I just think, are you capable of having the conversation with nuance, right? So it's like, to me, it's unfair regardless in any sport, really. Yeah, really, any sport, to compare different eras. Yeah. That's always been my thing. Because, I mean, I just think that it's weird because of how the game has changed. And once I go back to that whole criteria as far as what I did before we started talking about the list, was that everybody's criteria for what makes top whatever is different. Once again, if I'm doing a draft of any player of all time, my list is going to look different. It's just going to look different. Who am I going to build my team around who I want to be the centerpiece of my squad is different than who I have top 10, top 20 of all time. It just doesn't link up the same way. Especially, and then if you ask me what era are we playing in, right? So like it changes. Do I want Wilt Chamberlain right now? Is he my number one guy? Probably not. But if I'm playing in the 1950s, yeah, that fit works. I want me some Wilt, right? Like it just depends. And I think the same thing goes for the NFL and anything else. But I think when you can have this list and say all these different criteria kind of fit within it, this is where you're looking at legacy, all that shit. This is the other question I have, unless James has another question. Because I saw Stephen A. and him talk about this today in his conversation. I keep bringing it up. Is Steph on your Mount Rushmore?
No.
So like NBA Mount Rushmore, who's on your Mount Rushmore? So 4 guys that you have to pick. They don't, whatever it means to Mount Rushmore, to me, that means legacy, impact the game, and ability. Like that to me is it. Oh, also winning.
I look at Mount Rushmore as far as the pioneers. Because it's like I look at that. I would say Jordan, LeBron, Bill Russell.
Thank you. We agree so far.
And Magic.
Don't hate that list.
I don't know if.
Remember, I'm talking about pioneers. You can't. It's like you can't talk about NBA Finals and stuff without Bill Russell and everything.
No. I have Bill Russell on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I'm just saying because just to break it all down.
That's not the one I have a concern like. That's not the one that I'm like I'm not sure about. The one like this is gonna be weird, but it's LeBron for me.
Why?
All right. So what was your criteria?
Pioneer.
All right. So is LeBron more of a pioneer than Steph Curry? Like in terms of changing the game? He's not, right?
No, but I'm not. But no, but keep going.
So I'm looking at the. I don't know. Like, like so. Right now, the 3 I have is Jordan, Magic, and Russell. Right, and I'm thinking like, should Bird be in there too? Just because the Magic and Bird was like the same. You get what I'm saying?
I'm not putting both. You got to choose one.
I know. Like, so if I do that, then it's Magic over Bird. Cool. And then Russell, of course, just based on like the thing.
And he went to coaching.
Yeah. And he won 11. Then Jordan, of course, just because like Jordan made the game global. I don't know. It's between Steph and LeBron for me.
I would disagree with that Jordan made it global. I feel like Magic and Bird already did that. They just handed it off to Jordan and everything, and he just became
the 92 like Barcelona games. Like Jordan was the main catalyst there.
Yeah, but he handed it off and everything. Jordan was the person. This is something I'm gonna take from Stephen A. He's so correct. Jordan made people love players. Magic and Bird made you love teams. Like you was attached to the team. Jordan made you attached to players.
All right, but speak to the global aspect of it, though.
Yeah, global. That's what I'm saying. LeBron got some years over Curry as a global icon.
So I think
I'm talking about in terms of changing the game, the way the game is played. But go ahead.
Look, I don't even disagree with James's list all that much. I can understand the debate about LeBron. LeBron to me is not a pioneer necessarily. The MJ thing too. MJ, as far as the game of basketball, I'd be kind of hard pressed to say he was a pioneer, as much as he just did everything better than anybody. It's so I mean, but that once again, that goes to my criteria. My criteria was pioneer is one of those aspects, one of those things that lead to it. It's not the end all be all, right? But I think to the point that you guys are making as far as the Magic, I'd agree with that. Because look, here's the thing that's weird for me is that like, is MJ as synonymous with the Bulls as Magic is synonymous with the Lakers and Bird is synonymous with the Celtics? And I say no. Like to me, as much as it's iconic to see Jordan in that Bulls jersey, I think a Mike is Mike. Like Mike is Mike to me. I do think that there is something to say as far as that team aspect. But I also think when James is talking about the game going global, I think it happens at the right time. You're talking about all the access spending in the 90s.
I got a question for you.
The Soviet Union just fell. NBA is going global. The two guys that were the face of the NBA and really made the NBA like they were the stars, MJ shows up. But if things get slid, do I think if Magic and Jordan were playing in the same era, right? As far as like global superiority, I think MJ would have a problem. I'm sorry, Magic might have a more popular shoe. I think Magic is a lot more personable people if he was younger during that era.
No,
to me,
more personable.
And that's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, just as far as the face of the league, sort of thing.
So, what was Magic's number?
Oh, I'm ashamed of myself for not being able to.
Okay. What was Larry Bird's number?
I know what Michael's is. Yeah. What the fuck? I'm ashamed that I don't know the numbers.
But you see my like
that's. Dude, I'm looking at Magic Johnson right now in my. Oh man, I don't deserve to do this podcast anymore because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just. Wait.
Ron, what was
32?
What was all right? Since Kate already said what Magic Johnson's number was, what was Larry Bird's number?
33.
All right.
What type of question is that?
It was trust me, I'm ashamed.
But you see,
I was.
But the point of it was like when you said like when is Michael synonymous with the Bulls as Magic is the Lakers and Larry with the Celtics. I was like, you think about like Michael and 23 in the Bulls jersey.
I don't think that I think your question was a question for any idiot of basketball, and I got it wrong. I like that. That to me is.
Well, I mean, Ron did say it.
I'm saying there's like that. That's where Ron was quiet. It was how is this guy on a podcast all about sports and doesn't know off rip what Magic Johnson or Larry Bird's numbers are? That's a shameful moment for me. This is the lowest point I've ever felt in the podcast. You're experiencing it right now with me.
No,
I might want to edit this shit out.
No, I'm dead serious. This is the lowest I've ever felt doing this podcast.
Because that was
lowest and angry is different.
It's fucking bad.
Lowest and angry is different, so it's cool.
Are we done? Final thoughts?
Yep. Final thoughts.
You want to go, Ron? You want to go? We go. What's up?
Final thoughts of what? Of the playoffs?
Nah, just period. We're about to wrap the whole pot up.
Yep.
Anything you want to get off your chest?
Mm-hmm. Anything. It don't matter what it is.
If you need time, I can go first.
Yeah. Then I can go.
Final thoughts. I think it's real alarming that the Green Bay Packers has not landed a receiver, but we're over here to talk about Lamar Jackson.
Fair.
Everyone knows what I think about Aaron.
Listen, don't get me started because I don't have him in my top 5
right now.
All time.
Neither do I. I think it's stupid to have him in the top 5.
Hey, some people was arguing me like, oh, he should be. I got Kurt Warner over A-Rod.
Hang on that for.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going far.
You know what, Ron? When you have him in, you should watch our other pods on Aaron Rodgers exclusively.
Hey, I'm just saying. It's for someone like Stephen A. Because you calmed me down because I was about to go off on Stephen A. I can't call someone a bad man who's only been to one Super Bowl. You only have one Super Bowl appearance. At least the dude Kurt Warner has 3 and 2 with 2 different teams.
All right. All right, KDot, do you want to go or I can go?
I'll go. A lot of great fucking television, guys. I've been marathon, so I am now completely caught up on The Boys on Amazon Prime. If you don't watch that show, you should watch that fucking show. Wildest fucking shit I've ever seen on TV. It is fucking nuts. It is nuts. And it's so good. Also, I was surprised Miss Marvel. I think I talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago. Loving Miss Marvel. Episode 2 is great. Obi-Wan, it has moments, but I can't necessarily say that the episodes themselves have been all around strong. So it's been kind of cool to watch. And but yeah, The Boys. If you're not watching The Boys, stop everything and go do that. Also, Top Gun Maverick was fucking amazing. And I'm not about military propaganda or the military industrial complex, but goddamn, sign me up. That shit looked fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Funny enough, my dad did some stuff on some of those Jets. All right. So my final thought is this. Barca just got 700 million. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about it enough. The great business that Laporta did, just based on the fact that Liga was offering to sell 100% of our TV rights for 50 years for 270 million, but Laporta got 500 million for 25% or some crazy shit. No, 49% for 25 years. Like, blew them motherfuckers out the water. Good shit. Other than that, KDot, I kind of want to do this. Every pod, I'm gonna ask you for a movie. You tell me a movie to watch.
Oh boy!
As of this shit that you did, I'm so far behind in movies. So give me one off the top of your head.
Apocalypse Now.
You
don't even know what that is.
Ron, you seen it?
No.
What the fuck? I'm out. I'm out.
No, wait. Here's the thing. Look, KDot. I grew up with them. So the movies that I haven't seen, he hasn't seen either.
Stop watching so much goddamn sports, guys. There's other things that exist.
I can't
There
help
are other things that exist.
All right, so
there's art.
He even say art. Orange.
Apocalypse Now. All right, what year was it? Is there multiple
different? Fuck you.
Is it multiple movies, or is it like, you know, they got one from like 1950, they do another one in 74, and then another one in 2005? Like, what year was it?
Just type in Apocalypse Now.
It's only one.
Nigga, just type in Apocalypse Now.
But he's making me think about this one movie where I forgot that kid's name already. I was just watching it. You mean he got bit by a wolf
from 1979, bro? Oh, that's a decade before I was born. Oh, but I know these actors. I know these actors. All right, cool.
It's What Is It Tomorrow? Something like that. What? I can't remember this movie where like this little earthquake happened. It was causing all these storms around the world and everything. I can't remember the name of the movie. I just know
Huh? Nothing. Never mind. I'm not.
Marlon Brando.
All right, end the podcast.
I'm gonna watch it.